There it is.
RECORDING. Recording.
Hey,
do you think you can play this solo, this lick? Probably not. Well, obviously, we're all here. It's Tuesday, the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. Which Super Bowl? Super Bowl 55.
55.
Super Tuesday.
Super Bowl 55. But we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl yet. Yes, I did. I double checked. When you put that up, I'm like, did I?
I can see it. It says it too. It's on the computer.
Are you sure? You guys see it, right? You see the little red?
It looks like it's going.
There it is. Let's do it.
Little inside joke for us five. So yeah, we're gonna kick off the show here. A lot of rumors of trades happening right now. Some trades have even happened before. Blockbuster trades. So, who else do we kick this off with but the football gossip guy, right?
Well, I told everybody that Stafford was going before the Super Bowl. My sources, and I like to let you know that I am not a football insider. I am your football outsider, which means I basically listen to what all the insiders have to say from the outside, and I repeat it like a parrot. But yeah, that was the talk of the town that Matthew Stafford was gone before the Super Bowl, and he was. But wow, did anybody else see that coming? Where he
went?
Not
that quickly.
That trade, I mean, that is crazy. So that was absolutely insane. The other big talk, I don't know what you guys have heard or not, but let me just get my note here on this. The other big talk right now is that Jimmy G is going to end up in New England.
He's coming back home.
And Cousins is going to end up in San Francisco. So those that's what my insiders are telling me right now.
I can tell right now Dylan's holding back his smile.
What does that leave the Vikings with?
If Kirk Cousins left the Vikings, say it again.
What does that leave the Vikings with? They're going to go all in on Deshaun?
Well,
you have to at that point.
Yeah, no quarterback.
Yeah, I mean there's still quarterbacks out there, but it's got to be Deshaun. Now Deshaun has basically demanded a trade. Now it's official. He says I am not staying. So
and he's got a no trade clause.
He has his final say over where he doesn't want to go.
Yes,
where he does not want to go because rumor has it he's not real keen on going to the Jets.
Speaking of not going somewhere, I heard Stafford would be okay pretty much going anywhere but New England. I think that's a lot to do with the fact that he was under Patricia for the last couple of years.
Yep.
I think Dookie, you told me that one.
Yeah, that's what I read. I heard his number one choice was the Rams, though. So I'm sure he was happy to end up there.
Rams are a good squad. They're going to be definitely improve their game with Stafford over there.
I think they take a jump.
They definitely took a jump. What else is going on in the league? You guys probably know more about this than I do as far as the trades and whatnot.
I just think the Stafford trade was really interesting because the Rams basically went all in. They don't have any first-round picks coming up for at least the next 4 years. I mean, they're invested now to try and win. I think it's an interesting strategy that they're trying to pull off. They really don't care about the cap right now. I mean, they've committed. They know they already have the pieces in place on that defense, so they made a move to go out and get that quarterback. And they sacrificed what they think are probably going to be high-end first-round picks because, like Dookie said, they're probably going to take a jump to that next level next season. And that draft pick that they traded away is probably going to be in the mid-20s if they're successful. And hopefully they're hoping that it's actually number 32 after they host the Lombardi Trophy. I mean, Stafford's definitely a better weapon for them to have. He definitely has more of a downfield capability than Goff did. So it's going to be really interesting to see what McVay can do with Stafford at the helm and really let this offense unleash. They got the young Cam Akers. They got Robert Woods, who's a deep threat, and they got other weapons available to them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this trade works out. For Detroit, unfortunately, obviously they're going to get a lot of draft picks, but at the same time, you have to wonder what they're going to be able to do with Jared Goff. I mean, Stafford was great statistically usually there, but Goff isn't the same quarterback. He can't throw the ball downfield the same way that Stafford can. So it's going to be really interesting to see what a new head coach who really isn't known as an offensive guy I mean, he was an offensive coordinator, but he's not an X's and O's guy, I guess I should say. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with Goff at quarterback and see what Detroit's going to be able to pull off. I think they have a bright future ahead of them. It's going to be tough to see if they actually have the right coach in place for this.
Well, he's ready to bite people's kneecaps off. So
yeah, that's a football guy, though. You need that type of person to have in your locker room. If you don't have that guy that wants to go out there and fight everybody, I mean, look what Joe Judge did to the New York Giants. Joe Judge, he was really, really in the trenches. He wanted to throw punches at the offensive lineman coach. He was ready to fight him right there on the spot. That you need that type of personality to be a coach in the NFL. Look at these great coaches that are succeeding. You know, like Bill Belichick, he's always aggressive. He's always cutthroat, and people really respect him for that. When Tom Coughlin, he was the same way. He's very cutthroat, very, very on time, precise, very, very more organized, more straightforward. And that's what you need. You need a straight shooter of a coach. And I think this coach, he's a wild one, but I think that can get the team going a little bit. So I think overall, I think they're going to have some fun with that guy.
Yeah,
I personally didn't love the press conference. I didn't hear Dan Campbell say one thing that actually was anything football oriented. You know, like I enjoyed that in your face, but when you look at what Saleh said when he got hired by the Jets, way more professional. And if I wanted to coach, the difference between the two, I don't dislike Dan Campbell. I don't, that rah stuff. That's kind of what Patricia was in a sense. I mean, he wasn't as in your face, but like, I don't know. I think we got to see what he's going to do, but I personally didn't love the press conference, the bite your kneecaps off, even though it was entertaining. If I was a fan of Detroit, I'd be a little scared. He didn't say much in the way of football X's and O's.
But speaking of being scared, how'd you like to be an Eagles fan right now? What about that press conference?
That was
we got to be smart and if we're smart, we're not stupid.
Deer in the headlights.
There was also a report that I think it was the New York Times. A guy reported saying that Doug Peterson was fired when he said he wanted to hire his own staff and be his own man and make his own calls, and that's when they departed. And word on the street is the reason they hired this guy, his name's eluding me, but it's because they can control him and he's willing to be a puppet and ownership is going to be able to tug those strings whenever they want. And I think that's a terrible look if that article was true in any way.
I heard it. It was amazing. I highly recommend, if you guys just want some fun football entertainment, watch those two interviews and A/B them and
right. Not a good look. I didn't love it at all. So I'd take Dan Campbell over Sirianni though, as far as the press conferences went, to say the least.
I didn't get a chance to see either of those, so I might take you up on that and watch those for some high quality entertainment.
Definitely entertaining.
Any other rumors or trades you want to touch on before we move on to the recap?
Well, I just want to ask the guys a question, their opinion on something real quick. Sure. And this is something that's been coming up a lot the last couple of days. And with the stuff that's going on right now, especially with Deshaun Watson, do you think this is like the beginning of like the NBA style player, empowerment player has the all the cards to basically say, I don't want to be here, send me there, send me here, you know, kind of like what's been going on in the NBA for the last for however long it's been.
I think we'll start with Austin. I saw you shaking your head. Yes.
Yeah. So what I've been noticing in the NBA quite a bit, what's been going on, like look at what happened to James Harden. He got traded almost immediately. So he was unhappy in Houston, just like everybody else that's a football or sports fan in general in Houston. Doesn't seem like Houston is doing so hot in sports right now. So Harden, look at LeBron James years ago when he went to the Cavs, won a championship, went somewhere else, goes to the Lakers, wins a championship. He's kind of just a traveling warrior, basically. You know, he just goes wherever he wants and he's going to win. Look at Tom Brady, same thing, where he's just like, all right, Bill Belichick, you don't want me here? Fine, I'm out. I'm going to win with Tampa Bay. And he's right there on the doorstep, knocking, trying to get in right now. So kind of creating the environment to win. I think that's going to be a new thing, and that's going to be a lot more commonplace and not so frowned upon how it used to be anymore. because you got all these people from back in the day like Jerry Rice and you got Randy Moss. They're just like, well, we didn't whine, we didn't complain where we went, but look where they went off to. Eventually, their careers kind of went. Nope.
These guys,
when Randy Moss,
they have to have a reason to complain. You know, not just I guess I don't know. Is not winning a good enough reason to demand a trade?
Well, I think we've seen this recently in Jalen Ramsey when he left the Jaguars. He forced his way off that team. Yannick Ngakoue, also of the Jaguars, coincidentally, also kind of forced his way off the team. I think Tom Brady's a little different because he was a free agent and he didn't have to force his way off the team. He got to choose to leave. So I don't think I'd say it's been kind of happening now for a little bit, but not as big. I think Deshaun Watson's name and how big he is brings that up to the upper echelon. But I don't think it's the first time, and I definitely don't think it's the last time. I think the problem with Deshaun, it's like, is he going to be willing to make it ugly? What if they say they're not going to trade him? Is he going to sit for a year? He's got to be willing to come out and you referenced James Harden, Austin. He started playing poorly. He was a problem at practice.
His fat suit.
He was throwing his own team under the bus. Like, he was willing to make it ugly, so they had no choice but to get rid of him. I don't know if Deshaun Watson has that in him. So I am curious how this is going to play out, but I don't think it's the last time we'll see a player make a power move to get away from a team he doesn't want to be on.
Doesn't that show the character, do you think, of the player to be like, all right, well, if you're not going to train me, then I'm going to purposely suck.
They tank themselves. Yeah, it's messed up.
So
it's messed up in a way, but
at some point they get the bench, but I mean, the team's still playing them, I guess. So they're still getting paid. So what does it matter to them?
Well, Le'Veon Bell just chose to sit out.
Yep. There's another example of a guy forcing a move.
Yeah, exactly. Look what it did for him. Made a lot of money off the Jets, and it's like, oh, see you later. I'm going to go with the Chiefs and probably win a Super Bowl in a week.
I mean, these guys a lot of them are getting rewarded. Look where Antonio Brown is next week or this week.
Yeah, Bell and Brown.
Oh, that's right. Both of them.
Both of them.
Steelers fans kicking themselves right now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I think when Tom Brady comes out and makes comments like that make you think that he wants to go on, I think Tom Brady wants to, or Aaron Rodgers wants to do kind of what Tom Brady did. Totally. I think
why
guys
not, though?
Do kind of want that opportunity to go somewhere where the Packers won't go all in on Aaron Rodgers. There's a team that'll sacrifice their next 3 years like the Rams did.
Well, speaking of the Rams actually called Gutekunst. Did you know that?
I did read that they said no to him. They weren't willing to trade him.
And like, oh, okay, just asking,
Right, worth a shot. So I think, especially seeing it work out so well for Tom Brady, they brought in Gronk, they brought in Fournette, they brought in Antonio Brown. They really were willing to do whatever it takes this year all in. And I think Aaron Rodgers would love that. And I think there's many teams out there that would go all in on an Aaron Rodgers for a 2 or 3 year window. So I do think guys do want that more. Whether it's going to keep happening at like a high rate, I'm not sure. But I think this might be the beginning. I think Billy might be right.
It's a very let's win now mentality. I could see Rodgers doing that. And honestly, when you look back historically, all the great players in sports typically leave and go to another team before they end their career, with the exception of 2 that come to mind would be Kobe Bryant and Derek Jeter. But I don't know, just think about that. What's that?
Tim Duncan comes to mind as well.
Okay, Tim Duncan as well. But
right.
But I mean, you look at, Joe Montana. I mean, help me out here. I'm going to draw a blank.
Brett
Favre, Joe Montana. What about in baseball?
Michael Dang Jordan went somewhere else.
Michael Dang Jordan.
If he can go somewhere else and then his
Babe
career.
Ruth, if we're going far back.
Yeah. But I am curious to hear
Wayne
Andrew
Gretzky.
Gretzky, he played for every team, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to hear Andrew's take, because if I was as a Vikings fan, the Rams don't have any first round picks till 2024. But if you gave me Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford, I'd trade all my picks for the next 4 years to have that be the case.
Now?
I don't actually have a problem as a Rams fan, even if they fall short. They've done a lot more than the Vikings have ever showed their fans they're willing to do as far from an organization going all in.
Are you talking about going all in on Deshaun Watson?
No, just on Stafford and just their team, how it's currently constructed, where they have no draft capital going forward, but they have all the pieces to win now.
Sacrificing future success for a win now mentality attitude, much like the Patriots did the last 3 times that they won the Super Bowl.
I think so. And as a Vikings fan, I hear you kind of criticize the Rams, and I'm like, I wish I was a Rams fan, or I wish the Rams, my team did what the Rams are doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're putting everything in. Go all in. Might as well win it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting philosophy for sure. I think that it's going to be tested. If they can come out and they can win a Super Bowl using this philosophy where they trade away their draft capital for the future, but they hoist that Lombardi trophy, honestly, then I don't think you have much to complain about because you got what you set your goal after, which is obviously to win the Super Bowl. But if it comes back to bite them in the butt, they're going to be bad for years to come. They're not going to have any first-round picks. I mean, if you look at a lot of the good teams in the NFL, they've based their core around their drafts. You know what I mean? That's the way the modern NFL works. And that's what was interesting about Billy's comment about Deshaun Watson. And it really comes down to financial incentives. How long is he willing to sit out and not get paid? There's a huge financial disincentive for players in the NFL to sit out and not get paid. I mean, I was listening to a radio show earlier this week, and they were talking about, I think it's $100,000 if he doesn't show up to minicamp, $50,000 if he doesn't show up to OTAs. And then it starts adding up if he doesn't show up to the training camp, and then it really starts adding up. I think it's $600,000 if he misses a preseason game, and then not to mention regular season games on top of it. So there's a really big financial incentive for Deshaun Watson to play. I know he's frustrated. I know he wants to get out of town, but essentially it's really going to come down to the financial incentive for him, and that's what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell made the financial choice where he decided to sit out for that whole year, and he lost out on about $15 million, if I'm not mistaken, which is a huge amount of money. And I mean, obviously the Jets went and they paid him, and obviously he's on the Chiefs right now, but he's not the focal point of the Chiefs offense like he was played for the Steelers. So I totally understand why the Steelers got rid of him. I know it's a weird way to say it, but at the end of the day, it comes down to a financial game. And it would be nice to see the Vikings go and invest a lot into trying to go out and get a quarterback. Because I know, Dookie, that you're not a huge fan of Kirk Cousins. But, I mean, if you look at what they're doing right now, they're building up a really young defense like Zimmer's done before. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I'm really impressed with the picks that he made and how those young cornerbacks are developing. They really struggled earlier in the year, but they're really coming into their own. I think if they can create an offense that helps Cousins and utilize the tools that he has, you know, maybe they can get by with him if they can create a good defense like they had in 2017. So it's going to be really interesting. I think one of the biggest things that struggles for Cousins is the fact that he's had to have so many different offensive coordinators in the years that he's been at the Vikings. They've lost Stefanski. They just lost Kubiak. They fired DiFilippo when he just started. And so it's really interesting to see how many offensive coordinators that he's been through, and he has had no stability, and that's got to be tough for a quarterback to keep having to learn a new offense every single year. So I know that you would like to see them go all in and try and invest in Deshaun Watson, but honestly, I think they're going to rebuild their team through the draft and through maybe a little bit of free agency. And I don't think that investing all in on Deshaun at this time would be the best idea.
It's going to be a heck of an off season. It's going to be pretty exciting. Could you imagine Deshaun Watson in purple? Look at that.
It'd be great. I would
running
love
all over the field.
He'd look good.
The last time the Vikings had success was bringing in a veteran quarterback from another team.
Yeah, what was his name? Like, I can't remember that.
Brett Favre. So hey, we've seen what Kirk Cousins could do. We've seen his career path. I'd like to see Deshaun in purple.
All right. Well, any closing comments on that?
I think we covered most of it.
Went above and beyond that. Yeah. So do you guys remember not last Sunday, but the Sunday before that, there were 2 championship games. Do you remember those?
I think so.
That was like a year ago.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Tampa Bay Buccaneers came up to Green Bay to play the Packers. And of course, we all know the outcome. The Bucs are in the Super Bowl, and the Bills went to Kansas City, and the Chiefs won. But I wouldn't mind doing a little virtual roundtable recap on your thoughts of the game, mistakes, what teams could have done better. You can kind of group it all into one spiel of talking. You can talk about both games. You can jump back and forth. You know, keep it loose, but who wants to go first?
I say we cover one at a time.
I'll probably say the least, so I'll go first here.
Cool.
Coaching needed some serious help. LaFleur showed that he's a second-year coach. It was very reminiscent at times of that great Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Rams, seeing him being outcoached like that, and it cost the defensive coordinator his job. Bam. That's what I have to say about that. So there you go. Moving on.
No, I like that.
Short, sweet.
Austin, anything about what'd you say, Dylan? You said let's talk one-on-one each game.
Let's cover each game one-on-one a little bit.
Well,
yeah, I like that.
Well, let's start with the Packers and Bucks game.
Awesome. So looking at the Packers and the Bucks, I think we have the new burnt toast of the NFL in Mr. King. It seemed like every single touchdown was thrown over this guy's head. He got burned by Scotty Miller. He's getting burned by Mike Evans. He's getting burned by every single person on that football team. That defense struggled all day. Well, at least in the first half. Second half, they played lights out, but it was already too late. Damage was done. The blade was inserted, and you're starting to bleed out. When you're down 28-10 within the first few minutes of the second half, it's possible to come back, but they're so far behind. They just had to catch up and make all these things happen. Packers overall, they just seemed not like that team that I thought that they were all year, because all year they looked like that team that no one wanted to play and that no one could really beat if they're all firing on the same cylinder. And that day they weren't. In Lambeau, it's unfortunate too, because Aaron finally got his dream. Playoff game, home, conference. And that's everything you could possibly ask for. You gave Aaron everything to work with, except maybe a wide receiver. And that goes all the way back to the draft. And that's something that you could have done in the deepest.
But Green Bay, they have good wide receivers. I mean,
good ones.
They got Devontae. They got Allen. I mean, Dylan's not a fan. Alan Lazard. What's their tight end name?
Big Rob Tonyan. You got him, but
you got weapons.
You got him, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, he was hitting him a lot.
Maybe that was the difference, though.
53-yarder.
I mean, MVS, I think he was the lead guy that day, and I think the Packers just made too many mistakes. I mean, scoring 6 points off of 3 turnovers within really minutes.
3 drives.
You can't do that. You can't do that, and you go 3 and out, and then you go 3 and out again. It's like a mirror. It's like you can't do that. And if you want to succeed and you want to win that game, you got the opportunity, and they didn't take advantage. So Packers playing sloppy, and the Buccaneers barely hanging on in the end there, but they got the W. They got the ticket to home, which is their Super Bowl home. So I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Bucks are playing at home. That's unbelievable. The first time that's ever happened. Dylan, do you remember the games? What's your take?
Yeah, it was, I'll piggyback on kind of what he said is the Packers had every opportunity. Tampa Bay went up early, but those 3 back-to-back picks in the second half, and I think they got 0 points off them, and they went 3 and out on 2 of those. And so they were gifted the opportunity to get back in it, and Aaron Rodgers didn't play like the Aaron Rodgers we know. I remember that one back shoulder he had to Devontae Adams in the end zone that he dropped, and we've seen him catch that a million times. So maybe a little unlucky at the same time as just not being good enough that day. But I do think Aaron Rodgers has the weapons. But it's funny. I brought this up before. If you look what the Chiefs' first 2-round picks did for them this year, they provided help. They're part of the reason they're in the Super Bowl. Same thing with the Bucks' first 2-round picks, where the Packers took 2 guys and sat them on their bench. They did nothing for Rodgers. So I don't know if he needed another receiver, but another first-round pick at receiver would have been a lot nicer than a quarterback that does nothing to help your team.
Who didn't suit up once this whole year? Didn't suit up
right.
Once.
So really? I don't actually. I think they made poor choices there. I think that 2 guys in the first 2 rounds could help you be in the Super Bowl, could have helped them get there. But they had the chances. They didn't get it done. And then the field goal with 2 minutes left, down by 8. Yeah, it's like you have Rodgers. You got to give him that chance. And I think it's funny because when the Chiefs played the Bucks earlier this year, the Chiefs had it late with a small lead, and they went for it on a 4th down. And after the game, Andy Reid said to the cameras, he said, I learned at some point that you don't give Tom Brady the ball back. And obviously, LaFleur didn't see those comments by Andy Reid because he
didn't get the memo.
So yeah, I think the Packers dropped the ball a little bit, but the Bucs defense is scary. So, you know, it was tough. It was tough. But Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things. He's going to another Super Bowl. We all, you know, doesn't surprise anybody.
There it is. There's the quote.
Right.
Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things. Lent over in Colorado. What'd you think?
I think I agree with Dookie's last statement there about Matt LaFleur. He really blew it there at the end of the game. There's a saying from the famous movie Rounders where Matt Damon talks about how poker players always remember the worst hands that they've ever had, the ones that they get beat on. And Matt LaFleur is probably going to remember this decision for the rest of his coaching career. Unfortunately for him, he made the wrong choice. I mean, like Dookie said, you have Aaron Rodgers. It's 4th and short. You didn't even need to score a touchdown. He just needed to get that first down. And like you can't
give him
a
chance.
Ball back. Exactly. Tom Brady, I mean, he's one of the best comeback quarterbacks of all time. We've all seen it over and over and over again. Okay, maybe I just wanted to say
comeback kid, baby.
You understand my point, and you cannot do that. And I think really what this game came down to, like Billy said earlier, was coaching. The defense on the Packers was atrocious. Yeah, they made some adjustments in the second half, but like Austin said, it was too little too late. They could not stop the Tampa Bay offense. They could not stop Scotty Miller. King got burnt so many times. I felt bad for the guy eventually. And it cost Mike Penton his job in the end. And I think that Green Bay made the right choice. This is the second time now where he's gotten blown out in the NFC Championship game. And this is the second time that Matt LaFleur has made it to the NFC Championship game and gotten beat as well. The only other coach to make it to 2 back-to-back championship games in their coaching career is Rex Ryan, actually. His first 2 seasons with the Jets, he made the back-to-back AFC Championship games. So, but you know what? Now what he does on Sunday, he's the commentator on ESPN. So if LaFleur keeps making these poor decisions, like not going for it on 4th down, he's probably going to end up in the same spot. And so I think it really came down to coaching. And like Dookie said, Tampa Bay's defense was really impressive. I think Todd Bowles dialed up a really good game plan. He came after Aaron Rodgers.
Aggressive. 5 sacks.
Exactly. They had 5 sacks. They had 5 sacks the previous time for a total of 10 sacks on Rodgers in the 2 games that they played. So I got to give credit to Todd Bowles and that defense. And it was just really impressive to see. And it's going to be interesting to see how well they do in the Super Bowl.
Bowles was the most important TB on that field and sideline for Tampa Bay on Sunday. I tell you that.
Do you guys remember the other day when we had our rehearsal for this show? And the first thing that I said,
pre-production.
The rehearsal. And the thing that I said, I didn't say it today, was one of the coaching mistakes started at the coin flip, because you don't give Tom Brady the ball, right?
Exactly.
And I was just looking at something here. Do you realize that both teams scored in every quarter except for the first quarter? The Packers scored 0, Buccaneers 7. Second quarter, Packers 10, Buccaneers 14. Third quarter, Packers 13, Buccaneers 7. And in the fourth quarter, 3-3. If they had just put a 7 where that 0 was, we'd be looking at a totally different game right now. Think about that. And the last thing I'm going to say about this game is Las Vegas put its odds out for next year's Super Bowl already. And the Packers and one other team that's in the Super Bowl this year are projected to be in the Super Bowl 56.
Packers Chiefs.
There you go.
I mean, unless they
not surprising.
Unless they change it up. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have too much to say about these games. I'm happy that I do it every time. Brady won. I'm happy that Tom's back in the Super Bowl. His 10th Super Bowl, I might add. How many Super Bowls has Bill Belichick been in?
More.
I think 10.
10, right? Because didn't he go to one prior to Tom Brady?
With the New York Giants. He was the defensive coordinator, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. They beat the Packers 31-26. Brady threw 3 interceptions with 3 touchdowns. The Packers, I believe, actually only capitalized on 3 points. Actually, I say actually a lot on those 3 interceptions, right?
If I could add, that play at the end of the game, the pass interference that a lot of people complained about, it was clear as day. I don't think you really can have any argument. The guy ripped his jersey. But I will say that they let him play so aggressive throughout the game that it blurs the line. You can't call it really open throughout the whole game, and then what they got away with early, they're not going to get away with late. So I think it's terrible that all the complaints about that pass interference, because I think it was clear as day, but I don't think the officials did a great job drawing the line on what pass interference was that day and what they were calling and what they weren't.
Well, you got the two biggest crybaby quarterbacks, right? You got Brady and Rodgers. They look at the ref, they go, throw the flag.
Yeah, and they listen to him.
And they go, oh, sorry, Aaron. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes, that stud. He's going back to his second Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowls. Can you tell me the last quarterback to do that?
I believe his jersey's right behind you.
It was Brady. I forgot. Yeah. Okay.
Well, technically, that's to win back-to-back Super Bowls. You could say Russell Wilson went to back-to-back Super Bowls because he beat the Broncos and then lost to the Patriots. So I would go actually.
But Brady went Falcons, Eagles.
Yeah, he did it more recently.
That's true. You're right.
Anyways, enough about me obsessing over Tom Brady here. My fault. What did you think of that game? We'll start with Billy again.
Oh.
Surprise. Chiefs, Bills. Just to give you a recap, the Bills lost.
You got that, Billy?
Bills lost, Chiefs won. What type of mistakes do you think Buffalo did? And I got two questions for you. What mistakes did Buffalo do, and how many Super Bowls do you think Pat Mahomes will make it to?
That's a really good question. Well, I told you that there was people saying that if Patrick Mahomes, had a horrible car accident tomorrow and could never play football, he'd still be voted into the Hall of Fame with just 3 seasons. So that's a debate that's going on. Well, here's the deal. Buffalo has nothing but they're just going to go up. I mean, that the big difference in that game was you've had experience versus like a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? Because the Chiefs have been there, done that. The coach has been there, done that. And for crying out loud, it's like what's the coach of the Bills name again?
Sean McDermott.
Well, McDermott, was Andy Reid's right-hand man forever in Philadelphia, So you're going against your mentor, and also you're going against somebody that knows everything about you, So really the Bills needed to get this game under their belts and get some experience and look out for the Bills next year. That's what I have to say about that. What can you say about the Chiefs? The Chiefs finally played up to their talent level and actually went out there and did what the Chiefs have been supposed to be doing all year and underperformed. And they chose a really bad day to be the Chiefs for the Bills. You know what I mean? And that was the thing. Also, there was a lot of crowd noise there. And people aren't used to that much crowd noise. I mean, did you hear it even in the replay? It just sounded like there was a lot more people there. It was insane.
It was definitely more of a factor now that there's more people, especially the Chiefs have been letting in just a little bit more people. I think they were at 15,000 that day.
So probably
was it? 20. I thought it was 21, but maybe
probably 25 then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought it was more. It was in the 20s somewhere. Yeah. But it's insane. So I don't really have any X's and O's things other than look out for the Bills. They are going to. There's a real changing of the guard on that side of the division, and but the Chiefs are going to be around for a long time too, and they are the other team that's
predicted. Yeah.
Yep. Chiefs Packers for Super Bowl 56. So I'm passing it on.
Yeah, Austin, you were able to see some of this game, right?
Yeah. So Bills go up early, 9-0, and we've seen this one before. We've seen the Chiefs go down early, and then they come back and they win by a large margin. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, it happened again. So Bills had the chance to kind of put this game away a little earlier. Not that it really mattered because the Chiefs are just going to catch up and score anyway. They always do. But they're going for field goals and they're going for low amount of points. And you can't do that against this team. I think it's super important that you need to stay aggressive, especially against a team that is going to score points. The Chiefs have scored. They're like the red hot offense right now in the NFL, and they have too many weapons. They have too much to punish you with. And I think letting that get away on you and just scoring 3 points when they're going to score 7 in about 2 minutes, you can't do that. You can't let them get away. That team's going to beat you on the ground. They're going to punch you in the mouth, and they're just going to beat you flat out. It doesn't matter if you have that defense. It doesn't matter if you can score offensively. They can just keep up with anybody, and they've proved that over and over and over again. I mean, Patrick Mahomes hasn't lost by double-digit points since, 2016, 2017, when he was still in college.
That's unreal.
I mean, one-score games. There's been one-score games ever since. So Patty doesn't lose. Patrick Mahomes doesn't lose. And he's shown it over and over again. So,
well, be careful what you say.
It's true. I mean, yeah, not over yet. There's still one more game,
not
one
over.
more big one.
We'll get to that. How about down over in Minnesota? I make it sound like you guys are south. You're on the bottom of the screen, so you're down there. Yeah, you're down there. Dylan, you watched the game, didn't you? You guys both watched. Did you watch the game, Lent? No, you didn't get a chance to watch the game. So let's start with you, Dylan. You watched the game. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Billy. I think the Bills are only going to go up. They have a couple. They improved that defense even a little bit. Who played great this year? That run game. They go get a running back in the draft. I think they're bound to do good things. But I think the Chiefs will always be there, and the Chiefs are. They just showed. I think they're an extra level above everyone. Mahomes, even playing injured, the toe problem, he looked better than anyone else, even injured. So they spotted the Bills the 10-0 lead. Then the Bills just didn't. Their offense wasn't clicking. They did have the field goals and they weren't scoring touchdowns, and the Chiefs got back in it. And the Chiefs had like 7 or 8 one-score games over the last 8 games or something. They weren't blowing teams out. They won them all, but they were all within a score or single digits. And they showed the Bills, the Chiefs, that they can be. So I do think there's a lot of upside for the Bills. I think they're going to be good. But you got to put that 10-0 lead. It needed to be 17-0, 17-7. They needed to kind of build that score and keep it high, and they weren't able to do that. And the Chiefs, and I do like the veteran team, how when Mecole Hardman had that fumble and you saw on the sideline to give the Bills the 10-0 lead, you saw Mahomes, you saw Kelsey on the sideline. They surrounded him, and then the very next offensive play, they threw it to him 2 or 3 times. So they didn't let him get out of his game. It shows that they're veteran. They're not scared to come from behind. I just think they're too good right now, and I think they're going to be the class of the AFC for years to come.
I definitely agree with you on that. We'll see the Bills and Chiefs probably next year in the AFC Championship.
That could be the going forward
not divisional game. Billy, did you have something you wanted to add on to that?
Yeah, one of the things that was really awesome, I don't know if you've seen the videos of it or anything like that, but at the end of the game, after they lost the way, Josh Allen went to every one of the players and he was hugging them and telling them it's all right, it's my fault. And just, he was like consoling them, and it was the leadership. And I'll tell you, I think we're looking at the next Manning Brady era here with these two guys. I really do.
Right. It's hard not to not like Josh Allen. He's very likable.
Yeah.
I hope we do get that. I hope we do get another Brady, Manning, Allen, Mahomes. That will be exciting for the next 15 years.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that there was going to be the Ravens guy. What's his name?
Lamar.
Yeah, it's going to be Lamar and Mahomes, but I don't see it. I think it's going to be Allen.
He could be the Phillip Rivers to their.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes,
Brady.
Absolutely.
Or the Drew Brees even.
All right. I know you have something boiling up in that brain of yours. What do you got to say about this game, Lent?
Well, it was really impressive to see that the game plan that the Chiefs put together, like Austin and Dookie both said earlier, the Bills had chances, they had opportunities, and they settled for field goals instead of touchdowns. And I mean, if anybody is watching the NFL over the past couple of years, you have to know that when you're playing the Chiefs, field goals aren't going to cut it. You got to go out there and you got to put 7 on the board. And the Chiefs did a great job of making sure that the Bills weren't able to get in the end zone. So you got to give it up to the Chiefs. They also had a great game plan of shutting down Stephon Diggs. I know everybody saw the picture of him standing on the sideline at the end of the game, watching the Chiefs hold the Lamar Hunt trophy. So it's going to be, I think that's going to set him off. And I think him and Allen are going to continue on to the future. The future looks great in Buffalo. They're bringing back their whole coaching staff. I know there was some question whether or not their offensive coordinator was going to leave and go to the Chargers, but he's going to stay. So I think Josh Allen's really going to grow in this offense, and he's going to be really productive. And I think you guys are right. It is going to be a Brady Manning thing going forward. Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes is going to get all of his coaches back as well. Eric Bieniemy somehow, some way, did not get a coaching job again this year. I mean, that's a huge question. I don't know what he did or why he's not getting one, but it's fortunate for the Chiefs because they're bringing back their whole coaching staff and they're bringing back Patrick Mahomes. So it's really going to be interesting to see how these two teams play out in the future. I mean, they both have great young quarterbacks. They both have great coaching staffs. They both have really good defenses too. So it was a fun game to watch. And I think if anybody learned anything from the NFL from watching this game, when you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, you must score touchdowns and you must score a lot of them. So lesson learned for the Bills. Hopefully they can take what they can next year. Josh Allen's going to come back even stronger and lead the Bills hopefully back to the AFC Championship team. And like Billy said, I think they had to have this game. They had to get this game under their belt to know what it's like to play in the high pressure situations. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they can come back and see if they can get back in the same spot next year.
Excellent.
And yeah, I meant to bring up the Eric Bieniemy thing, and I mean that's it's sad for him, but oh my gosh, it's sad for every other team next year.
The NFL is in trouble.
Oh yeah,
the Chiefs are a monstrous team.
They're a juggernaut.
And to think that both of these quarterbacks are 23, 24, 25 years old, I mean, theoretically, they should be getting better over the next couple years. So
we haven't even seen their prime yet.
Right. They should be still entering it. So
a couple stats there. So obviously the Chiefs won. They're going on to play in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. They beat the Bills 38-24. Josh Allen, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. Mahomes was by far the best QB of the weekend with 3 touchdowns, 325 yards, and 0 interceptions. Can't even talk. Anyways, that's not the end of the podcast because now we got to talk about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl? Have you forgotten? That's why we're here to talk about Super Bowl 55, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Pirates again. Never mind.
And Tom Brady leading his team to be the first team to play in their home stadium.
We were just talking about that before we started. You should fill the rest of the guys in on what they're doing.
Yeah, so a few things. So first of all, word on the street is that the Buccaneers are actually going to stay in their homes. They don't have to go to a motel and sequester or anything. So they're actually going to be at home all week leading up.
That's an advantage.
Yep. There's also no Radio Row, and they don't have to do all of the typical interview and stuff there. And so they're all just doing it from Zoom from their houses. So there's an advantage. They also, since they're the home team, they get to use the home team's locker room, which means they'll be in their own locker room. However, all of the Buccaneer branding is being removed from the locker room.
Wild.
But here's a fun one. And this is the question I've had since the very beginning is, don't they have a big, giant Buccaneers pirate ship at the end of that stadium? So they're not going to be covering up with a blanket. That thing's still going to be there. You know what I mean? So what we were saying was they're not allowed to shoot the cannon. That's already a no cannon shooting if they get touchdowns. But I mean, that thing says Buccaneers right across it. So is there going to be like a big banner that says, SSNFL pirate ship or something? It's like,
I guess my guess would be that they're going to, cover up where it says Buccaneers on the side, but also I read that they won't be, I don't know if you just said this. I'm sorry.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, about the cannons?
Yeah.
Okay. Boom, boom. No booms.
No booms.
No booms. Hey, I visited that stadium a couple years ago.
Wow.
So that makes me a Bucks fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Close enough.
It's the Brady Bucks connection with Corey. Wow.
Do you have any
full circle?
Any crazy predictions on something that might happen? Will there be a kickoff return? Will Scotty Miller and Tyreek Hill race? Like, what do you think?
I'm throwing that to you guys, man.
All right, cool. Austin, I can just see that you're ready to chat about this. First off, I guess what do you think's going to happen? Do you think anything crazy like I asked Billy? You think there's going to be a kickoff return? There's going to be a coin flip debacle? What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be too out of the ordinary, but we've already seen this year. This happened already. The Chiefs and the Buccaneers did play already, and last time they did play, Mr. Tyreek Hill had 200 yards.
It was a good game.
In a quarter. Now, that is alone. I think he ended with like 3 touchdowns, 259 something yards. I don't know off the top of my head, but he ended the day with just stupid numbers, and he really did all the damage in the first quarter. So that's what he's saying. One thing right off the bat is that what's the answer for him this time around? Because obviously he was an issue that last week when they were playing, not obviously the last week, but when they played, they couldn't cover him. He was open. He's getting open. He's making people miss. He's just a dangerous threat. So what are you going to do? You're going to cover him, and you're going to leave who else open? You got Nico Hardman. You got so many other weapons.
Travis Kelce.
I think Watkins might be coming back.
Yeah, and he was a hero, a Super Bowl hero last year. He was burning 25 on the 49ers. Why can I not think of his name?
Sherman.
Yes, Richard Sherman. Thank you. He was burning him. And that's not even the number one, or at this point, I don't think he was the number 1-2 receiver at the time. So if he's doing that to Richard Sherman, what is he going to do to this Buccaneers defense? It's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to keep up. Chiefs are too fast, too physical, too strong. The Buccaneers defense is good. It's very good, but I don't think they have what it takes to stop that Chiefs offense, to stop Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to say Chiefs.
Okay, so Austin's saying KC, the Chiefs. I like it. I will mark that down. Austin says Chiefs.
Hard to blame them.
Hey, you're on the screen now. How about you continue?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs too. I'm a little scared for them. They're missing both their top tackles that they started the year with. One of them went down in week 6, and one, Eric Fisher, just went down in this last playoff game. So they'll be without their 2 top tackles, but I don't know if that'll affect them enough. Like you said, we saw this game before. Tyreek went crazy. Kelce had himself a good game. They didn't have any answers. And another thing, I just actually heard this stat and it surprised me, but the Chiefs as a team have the number 1 pressure rate in the NFL, their defense. And if you guys remember going into that Washington football team versus Tampa Bay game, everyone said, oh, Washington has a chance because they'll pressure Tom Brady. So if the Chiefs are the number 1 team, I think that, it's going to be a thorn in Tom Brady's side. I think their offense is unstoppable, so Tom's going to have to match them. And I don't know if the Bucs offense will be able to keep up with Mahomes and the boys. And, Mahomes and Brady are 2-2 over the last 2 games, but Brady won the first 2. Mahomes has won the last 2. So Mahomes has upper hand in the last 2. I think it'll be a great game. I think the Bucs defense will have some stops, but I don't think they'll be able to contain them for long enough. Even if they double cover Tyreek all day, I think Kelce runs wild on them. Meek Cole out of the backfield had a couple big plays against the Bills. I mean, they use all their guys so well. I don't see anyone stopping them.
Give me something out of this world that will happen. Somebody, an overthrow over the quarterback's head for a safety, something crazy. Give me one. What do you think? Something random.
These teams are so well put together and been together for so long. It's hard to think about anything too crazy, like out of the normal. But I really, my prediction, I think Kelce has 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. I think they double Tyreek all day, and they'll be so scared of him beating him like he did in that first game that I think Kelce just works those linebackers.
So let's say Kelce gets 3 touchdowns. So obviously that means Mahomes gets 3 touchdowns. Let's say the game ends 21-14. Who gets MVP?
I think it almost have to be Kelsey, but it's the quarterback. Mahomes.
They're gonna go Mahomes, yeah.
So it's hard to say, but yeah, I think it would be Mahomes.
Okay, so you got Chiefs down off
the ball a little bit too. They're so good offensively. They haven't been running it, and they need to get some running room for Mahomes to operate better. I think
it's gonna be a wild Super Bowl. I hope probably a shootout, much like the Eagles Patriots a couple years ago.
I'm thinking shootout as well.
That's what people want to see. The networks want to see the Chiefs against the Bucks, Brady against Mahomes. They want to see touchdowns. Heck, the Patriots Rams Super Bowl, best Super Bowl, right?
Boring.
Defense.
It was fun. Yeah.
Defensive battles are fun though.
He goes boring.
That one, boring.
It was a boring
That was
game.
the most boring Super Bowl game I have ever seen.
Your reaction was more exciting than the game. Right there.
Hey, speaking of the Super Bowl, if anybody's planning on going, the stadium actually seats up to 75,000 people. For the Super Bowl this year, they're letting 22,000 people in, and 7,000 of them, ready for this, are not paying a dime because they're going to bring in 7,000 healthcare workers and first responders, and they get to go to the Super Bowl for free, which I think is really amazing. But for the rest of us, if we were to go on SeatGeek right now, prices start at $6,249 for the upper tier, and touchline tickets are going for about $79,206. However, on Vivid seats, for only $51,087, you can get a sideline seat, and currently executive suite seats are going for $250,000 each. So keep going, guys.
Goodness. I got a free ticket right here on my couch. Can't wait. Best seat in the house.
You found the golden ticket.
Is that insane or what? I mean, that's
$200,000.
$250,000.
Sorry, $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
I got 5 on it, like $5. That'll get me what, like a kernel of popcorn or something.
Possibly.
How much is food? I wonder.
Oh my gosh.
Concessions got to just be outrageous.
I mean, even serve food. You got to think because
Yeah, I don't know what their protocols are.
Good question.
That's crazy.
Let me look that up while you guys are talking.
Yeah, look up concession cost and parking and all that kind of stuff. Lent, Super Bowl homeboy, what do you got?
I think it's going to be really interesting. Like Dookie had mentioned earlier, Kansas City missing both of their starting tackles is going to be an interesting thing. I know Mahomes is an agile quarterback and he can move around in the pocket, but the Buccaneers showed when they played Green Bay last week that they can get after the quarterback. I think they sacked Aaron Rodgers 5 times. So I think if Tampa Bay can get pressure on Mahomes, it's going to be really interesting to see if he can hit those deep passes to Tyreek Hill, to see even if they have to double cover him downfield because he's not going to have enough time to get rid of the ball. I think Kelsey's going to be essential, but they also have a great young linebacker in Devin White, who I think is going to be able to match up with him equally well. I don't know. He's not going to necessarily say he's going to be able to shut him down, but he's definitely going to give him a run for his money. He's been playing out of his mind lately. They got a really good, young, solid defense. Their GM over there has done a really good job drafting and finding the right free agents to put in the place for Tampa Bay to have the weapons that it takes to try and win the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see Tampa Bay's coaching staff can dial up to try and keep Mahomes, keep pressure on him, keep pressure on the pocket, and make sure that he's not able to hit Tyreek Hill downfield. But if he is, I think that Kansas City is going to win. I think that Andy Reid is at the top of his game right now. I think Eric Bieniemy is one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. I think between the two of them, they're going to figure out a way to get Mahomes to be able to get rid of the ball quick, to get that speed on their offense going. And essentially, I do think they're actually going to win. I think Tampa Bay's defense has a chance, but I think Kansas City's offense is too powerful. You guys all mentioned all the weapons that they have earlier, how many guys they have with speed. So I think in the end, it is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. If you want to hear my crazy prediction of play of the game, I think it will be some kind of a strip sack. Someone's going to be back there trying to make a play. Ball's going to get knocked loose, and someone's going to return it for a touchdown. That's the craziest play that I see happening. I think that both these teams can get after the quarterback. So one of them is going to get pressure. They're going to knock the ball loose and maybe return it for a touchdown like the Broncos did when they won the Super Bowl against the Carolina Panthers.
You kind of stole mine. I was going to say Well, so you said Kansas City's going to win. That's your pick.
I do. I think Kansas City's going to win in the end. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't want to give a score out there, but I would definitely take the over of 57.5 points. I think it's going to be a higher scoring than that.
What'd you find out, Billy? How much is my Pepsi?
All right, here we go. Ready?
Or Coke?
I don't know about Pepsi yet, but I'm just going to run it down for you. Nachos and pretzels are going for just $9. Very good.
Not that bad.
Hot dogs, $14. Popcorn, $15 and up. An 18-inch Cubano sausage sandwich, $50. On the healthier side, you can get a salad or wrap for $25. Chicken sandwiches and veggie burgers, $25. They're also ordering corn fritters for $15 and stone crab cocktail for only $85. A carved beef tenderloin for $32. And beverages are going to be going for between $10 to $20. Says nothing about alcoholic beverages.
Wow. Not only, I mean, I guess the most expensive ticket is $250,000 for a suite, you said.
For sweet.
So on top of that, $20 for a hot dog.
Yeah.
Whatever you said.
Okay, now for my crazy prediction, get ready. Get ready for this. This is going to be hilarious. It's going to be like watching the $6 million man running in slow motion. Tom Brady will run it in for a touchdown.
Ooh!
A 1 yard sneak or an actual?
How long of a run? Because not the 1 yard sneak. Because that's
no. I'm talking like 10 or 12 yards. He's going to see daylight, man, and Gronk is going to block. And he's going to go in for the touchdown, man. That's my crazy score. And ready for this? You guys are ready? Tommy Boy for the win.
So Billy's got the Bucks. You guys all got the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm going with Brady. I'm going with the Bucks. And let me tell you why. I don't really explain why I think
we know why. We see it right behind you.
Oh yeah, good point. I got the Patriots one, the real one in my closet. But I think this is Tom Brady's biggest Super Bowl ever. Mm-hmm. This is by far his biggest Super Bowl. He's no longer with the Patriots. He's no longer with Bill Belichick. This will be the staple of him getting out of Belichick's shadow and really truly being the GOAT. I think he's going to put more preparation into this Super Bowl than he ever has. He's going to dominate. He's going to know that defense. He's not going to dominate that defense, but he's going to know it, and he's going to be calling audibles on that play. And I think the Bucs are going to be able to work the Kansas City defense. I'm not saying he's not going to throw 3 interceptions. He might, but I do think the Bucs will win, and I think the Bucs will win because there will be a mistake on Kansas City, possibly a strip sack or a touchdown, where they just can't recover from that. Maybe something late. Maybe it's close, and all of a sudden Mahomes has the ball. Next thing you know, he drops it, and the Bucs pick it up and score. I got Bucs winning.
I want to hear one time where you think Mahomes is the reason that the Chiefs lost the game, and you think in the Super Bowl, in the biggest game, he's going to have a moment where he's the letdown. I don't see it.
Here it goes, but not really necessarily the letdown, but I mean, it would be the offensive line, I would say, for not holding them back. But I would, or maybe he's scrambling and he's got the ball out and he pulls a Cam Newton. And the next thing you know, it's out of his hand and the Bucs got the ball and they're running it in for 6.
I got you.
That's my crazy prediction.
That's fair.
I guess if I had to put a score on the game, I'd probably put like 37-35.
Ooh.
Bucks. Yeah. 37-35 Bucks.
You think it goes to the final possession?
I think the last team to hold the ball wins, and that's going to be the Bucks because they're going to get it out of Mahomes' hands when they're on offense. You like that? But these guys, I don't know if you can hear them, but let's hear it.
So we got 2, right?
I got 2 coins. I don't need to use them both. I just happen to have 2 of them. How about we don't use the one with Buffalo on it?
Okay.
So you guys, Austin, Duke, Lent, I'll pick the Chiefs. Billy and I are going for the Bucks. I like where your head's at. All of you. You guys ready?
Yep.
Heads.
Ready when you are.
So Tampa Bay is technically home, you said?
Yes.
Before I flip this, do we know what jerseys they're wearing?
Yes.
Did you say that earlier? I missed that.
No, but I'm glad you brought it up. They're wearing the white.
Tampa Bay is?
Yes.
Good.
I know why, too.
I know why, too.
Why don't you tell our viewers?
We'll tell the viewers because I'm pretty sure every time that Brady's won a Super Bowl, he was wearing white. I don't know if that's necessarily true in the
every
first.
time Brady won a Super Bowl, he was coached by Belichick. So
no, but the Bucks have 9-0 wins. I think with the white jerseys. Yeah.
Interesting stat.
And they got to pick, so they went with the white.
So they're going with the away jerseys, technically.
Yeah. But interesting thing, they had a some type of sociology professor or something talking on the show the other day, and he said that red traditionally gives a small margin of winning to the team that wins red because of the primal, you see red coming at
intimidation kind of.
Yeah, he gave like this whole big dissertation on why red jerseys win.
That's why a bull chases a red cape.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip the coin here. Heads, Bucks, tails, Chiefs. I'm gonna see if I can do this without knocking it on the floor. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
That's awesome. They're going to be the first team to play at home, and they're going to win it. The coin says the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win. So we have a tie.
Yeah, so going.
That means
flip?
Yeah, now you have to talk.
Do I flip the other coin? No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So I guess with all that being said, let's talk about closing comments. We're going to run around the horn here. I'm going to start with Lent. I haven't started with you all night. What do you got? Closing comments about anything you want to say?
I'm just really excited to see this game. I think it's going to be two great teams, two high-powered offenses, and I think it's going to come down to, like you guys said earlier, whoever has the ball last is going to score, and that's probably going to be who wins it. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring, fun, entertaining game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Whoever has the most points at the end of the game will win the game.
Exactly.
John Madden. Where'd Austin go?
I see him. Oh, is he frozen?
He's. I don't see him. That's a bummer. Let's see if I can fix that.
Oh, looks like he's frozen.
Well, we'll skip him then. Dookie, yeah, ESM, Elite Sports Mind. Give us your closing comments, my friend.
My thought is that I think this. I've said this before. I think this is if Tom Brady wins, he closes the book. He'll be the GOAT. I don't think Mahomes can catch him. Oh, there we go. So if Tom Brady wins this, I think he kind of closes the book. He's the GOAT. If Mahomes wins this, it keeps that book open just a little bit. Mahomes is right there on his way to catch Tom Brady. So I think it's gonna be a great game, one of the Super Bowls to remember. I hope anyway. And I'm excited for it. High scoring, very exciting, great coaching. Right. I'm excited.
I'm super stoked. It's weird. So whoever is watching this, you and Austin and Lent all just flipped in different spots. Billy and I were hanging out here. I want Billy to go last. So Austin, what do you got for closing comments? Uh-oh.
Yeah, bad connection right now.
Well, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. We just can see a still image of you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, you can see the still image. I think final closing thoughts are going to win 2 in a row. I think he's going to kind of follow Brady's path, and he's just going to be showing up to a lot of Super Bowls. I think you'll see him a couple times in the next few years here in the same position of leading his team.
I think we're losing him.
All right.
Again.
Definitely got the gist of it.
So,
Mahomes two years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think your Penguins are screwing up your connection.
Yeah, maybe. Come on, Penguins.
Are you in the North Pole?
Pretty much at this point.
Well, he's back now.
Yeah, now of course he's back. We definitely, he's kind of going away again. That's okay. Got the gist of what you're going to say and what you did say. You said Mahomes is going to win back-to-back, and he's on his way to the climb of the top. I guess he technically is at top. Billy.
All right. This Super Bowl is going to feature a lot of firsts. It is going to be the first Super Bowl in a long time to not have a full stadium. It is going to be the first Super Bowl to be played in the middle of a pandemic. It is the first Super Bowl, ready for this, guys? Talk about deep gossip, that Budweiser, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi are not going to be having Super Bowl commercials. They have all passed on running Super Bowl ads because of the pandemic and everything. So perhaps the Super Bowl isn't going to be the cash cow it once was for them. This will be the first Super Bowl that the team that's playing at the Super Bowl is going to be in their home stadium. And you heard it here first. The first Super Bowl where the home team wins the Super Bowl. Lots of firsts.
Wow, I like it. My closing comments would be, I mean, I'm always excited about the commercials, but maybe I'm not anymore. I just found out about that. All right, we're relying on Geico and Progressive to really give us some awesome commercials this year.
Oh, and State Farm's crying. Could you imagine? They were getting ready for the
State Farm Bowl.
Yeah, they didn't get the State Farm Super Bowl that they wanted. They got Brady Mahomes. I'm super stoked. Super Bowl 55 this Sunday. You guys excited?
Oh yeah.
Dylan's real excited. I can see it. Hey, check this out. I can hit stop on the recording. Hey, good show. Talk to you guys after the Super Bowl.